As soon as the man stepped into the classroom, a bucket of water came crashing down, but he wasn't soaked at all. Seeing his quick reflexes, the students were astonished. What they didn't know was that this new teacher had once been a special forces soldier, unable to bear the cruelty of war any longer. He decided to retire and return home to become a teacher. However, the class he was assigned to was the most troublesome in the entire school. The next day, when he walked into the classroom again, the students still ignored him. They kept doing their own things. Some were even eating, and one jokingly asked if he wanted a bite. The man didn't get angry. He stepped onto the podium and began to introduce himself, but the students continued to disregard him. So he picked up a piece of chalk from the desk and threw it at the classroom sprinkler pipe. The next moment, water poured down on the students. Only then did they realize this man was not ordinary. Even though everyone returned to their seats, they still didn't pay attention to the lesson. To spark their interest in learning, the man proposed a challenge. Any student who answered his question correctly would be allowed to leave class early. Then he held up an object and asked them to identify what he was holding. The question seemed too easy, so nobody dared to answer. Finally, one student gathered courage and replied. The man clapped for the correct answer and, keeping his word, allowed that student to leave freely. Amid the envious stares of others, the student happily walked out of the classroom. Before long, the man's fresh teaching method earned the students' trust and rekindled their interest in learning. The students began to study seriously. However, the principal disapproved of this method, but the man didn't care about the principal's opinion. He firmly believed his way was better for the students. One day, he heard that a student was working part-time at a gym. Concerned, the man followed him there. He discovered that the gym manager would always deduct wages unfairly. Seeing this, the man stepped into the gym, taught those dishonest people a lesson, and told the student he would support him with his own salary. The man's actions deeply moved the students.